What's going on, you guys, and welcome back to a different perspective, y'all. We got a video here today, another one from Choose You. This is Dr. Joe Dispenza. This is another man who I idolize, someone I look up to, someone who I admire, someone who I have learned a great deal from in regards to bettering myself, just self-development overall in general. And he got a video here. This one is why you will never change. So I'm pretty sure there's going to be some gems, some information in here in this content that's going to give us a little idea of who we are, get us to understand ourselves a little bit better, at least for those of us who are struggling with progressing forward in life. This is definitely some information that I've obtained from this man that has helped me a great deal, a tremendous deal, because Lord knows how badly, how desperately I needed some change. I needed change, but I didn't have the tools or the information or the know-how to do so. So I had to research people, and thank God I found Dr. Joe Dispenza, because he's been a big staple in my self-development process. So I want to introduce you guys to him, and let's check out this video. Now, this is like, since it's Choose You channel, got music on it, it's going to be like that, almost like motivational style, real calming type of vibe. But nonetheless, the message is what's important. So let's see if we can hear it. Y'all ready? I'm ready. Let's go.
The habit is when you've done something so many times that your body now knows how to do it better than your mind. When you think about it, people wake up in the morning, they begin to think about their problems. Those problems are circuits of memories in the brain. Each one of those memories are connected to people and things at certain times and places. And if the brain is a record of the past, the moment they start their day, they're already thinking in the past.
Woo! That's right, man. Goodness gracious. If you think about it, all we are as human beings are habits. Good and bad. We're nothing but habits. We start our day with habits. We end our day with habits. Each and every single one of us. This is said that you can't just drop a habit. You can't just say, hey, I'm gonna just be done with doing this thing. The best way to go about it is to replace that habit with a different habit. Hopefully a better habit. If you have a bad habit that you're trying to lose or get rid of, replace it with a better habit. And when it comes to your thoughts, how you talk to yourself, how you feel about yourself, those things are habits as well. And we got to be careful what we say to ourselves, because that stuff gets fed into our subconscious mind, and it becomes the way that we feel, the way that we think, no matter how much better we try to tell ourselves something that's the opposite of what we know and feel inside. But how do we get those steps? How do we go from replacing those negative thoughts and ideas about ourselves with better ones and actually believing those better ones? Let's see. Hopefully Joe will give us some idea of how to do that.
Each one of those memories has an emotion. Emotions are the end product of past experiences. So the moment they recall those memories of their problems, they all of a sudden feel unhappy, they feel sad, they feel pain. Now, how you think and how you feel creates your state of being. So the person's entire state of being when they start their day is in the past. So what does that mean? The familiar past will sooner or later be a predictable future.
Woo! Dang! Hold on. I'm sorry, you guys. I had to pause that. The familiar past will soon to be a predictable future. If you're starting each and every day in an emotional state, if you're in an emotional state, if you're thinking about something negative, it's because you're thinking about something that has happened or has occurred in your past already. You're not thinking about something that's going to happen. Not usually. It's usually something that has happened, but it will become something that will happen because that's what you're focusing on. We tend to repeat things in our lives. Goodness gracious, man. I mean, when I say this man speaks to me, this was me. He is telling it for you. He's telling it for me.
So if you believe that your thoughts have something to do with your destiny.
Yes, I did.
And you
I still
can't
do.
think greater than how you feel. or feelings have become the means of thinking, by very definition of emotions, you're thinking in the past.
Yeah.
And for the most part, you're going to keep creating the same life. So then people grab their cell phone, they check their WhatsApp, they check their text, they check their emails, they check Facebook, they take a picture of their feet, they post it on Facebook, they tweet something, they do Instagram, they check the news, and now they feel really connected to everything that's known in their life. And then they go through a series of routine behaviors.
Yeah.
They get out of bed on the same side, they go to the toilet, they get a cup of coffee, they take a shower, they get dressed, they drive to work the same way, they do the same things, they see the same people, they push the same emotional buttons, and that becomes the routine, and it becomes like a program. So now they've lost their free will to a program, and there's no unseen hand doing it to them. So when it comes time to change, the redundancy of that cycle becomes a subconscious program. So now 95% of who we are by the time we're 35 years old is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions.
Let's pause that because we gotta take that in, because that's very, very important to understand. He said 95% of who we are by the age of 35 just becomes hardwired. Is what we are. And it's hard to change from that. It's hard to move forward from that as you get older. And what I mean is, it's hard to change the habits that you have developed or acquired by the age of 35 years old. It used to be said that it was 25, but 25 is still young. 35 is a little bit more believable. It's like once you get 35, you're stuck in your ways. You know what I'm saying? Like there's a few things that could happen after the age of 35 that's going to change you for the better. Some things might come along that change you for the worse, but few to change you for the better. You're pretty much, you think you know what you know, and you're sticking to your guns. But yeah, it's so important to understand how unnecessary it is for you to continue along the same habits that you've been having, especially if they're not ones that are suiting you. That's exactly what I had to realize for myself. I realized all the bad habits that I had, and I had to learn how to replace them with ones that are better. Now you might ask, how do I know what's a better habit? You got to decide that for yourself. We'll take it back a little bit. This is too powerful.
Is a memorized set of behaviors, emotional reactions, unconscious habits, hardwired attitudes, beliefs, and perceptions.
Yes, sir.
That function like a computer program.
Yep.
So then a person can say with their 5% of their conscious mind, I want to be healthy, I want to be happy, I want to be free.
Yeah.
But the body's on a whole different program. So then how do you begin to make those changes? So most people then wait for crisis or trauma or disease or diagnosis. They wait for loss, some tragedy to make up their mind to change. And my message is, why wait? And you can learn and change in a state of pain and suffering, or you can learn and change in a state of joy and inspiration.
Why do people find it so hard to get past trauma?
Well, the stronger the emotional reaction you have to some experience in your life, the higher the emotional quotient, the more you pay attention to the cause. And the moment the brain puts all of its attention on the cause, it takes a snapshot. That's called a memory. So long-term memories are created from very highly emotional experiences. When you have an emotional reaction to someone or something, most people think that they can't control their emotional reaction.
Yeah.
Well, it turns out if you allow that emotional reaction, it's called a refractory period, to last for hours or days, that's called a mood. You say to someone, hey, well, what's up? You say, I'm in a mood. Well, why are you in a mood? Well, I had this thing happen to me 5 days ago, and I'm having one long emotional reaction. If you keep that same emotional reaction going on for weeks or months, that's called temperament. Why is he so bitter? I don't know, let's ask him. Why is he so bitter? Why are you bitter? Well, I had this thing happen to me 9 months ago. And if you keep that same emotional reaction going on for years on end, that's called a personality trait.
Wow. Interesting. So when you, so I guess that happens for many different things in regards to our personalities. It's like we acquire this trait early on, and we just kind of keep it with us long enough, good and bad, to where it becomes part of our personality. Wow. So it's just interesting. That makes a lot of sense, though. That makes a lot of sense. It's almost as if especially when it's a good trait. It's like, yo, we figured out this thing. We enjoy the way it makes us feel, the way it makes us perceived by the world. So we're going to keep doing it till it becomes a part of our personality. That's the way it is with habits as well. You know, he talked a good bit about habits. You got, in order to, and it said that it takes 66 days for a repeated activity or habit to actually become a habit. 66 days of repeating this thing over and over and over for it to become a permanent part of your habit. So like going to the gym, waking up, eating healthy and all that type of stuff, you have to do it 66 days in a row without skipping any days in order for it to become a lifestyle for you or a habit. Now, oh man, like it makes so much sense. And just like how he said, it takes like the negativity of the personality trait. That's what had happened to me. That's the same thing that I experienced myself. I was in this mood for a long time because of my life and the way things was unfolding in my life, that I held on to it for so long that it became a personality trait for me. I became a very negative person all the time. I was someone who can barely crack a smile. I was someone who was always confused, always angry, always upset, never really showing much positive emotion. And that went on for years because it started in the beginning, and I just kind of held on to it because not enough good stuff was happening in my life in order for me to change that so that it wouldn't become a part of my personality. But it did. It became a part of my personality, and I held on to it for an entire decade. And I was absolutely miserable. Absolutely. But you can change it. I did, for sure.
So then people, when they have an event, what they do is they keep recalling the event because the emotions of stress hormones, survival emotions, saying pay attention to what happened.
That's it.
Because you want to be prepared if it happens again.
Oh my God.
Turns out most people spend 70% of their life living in survival and living in stress. So they're always anticipating the worst case scenario based on a past experience.
That's it. I think that's why I used to suffer from panic attacks so much, is because I was always on edge. It was like I was always trying to protect myself from this negative thing, this trauma that happened to me in my past, from repeating itself. Wow, that's what we do. Listen, you guys, learn about ourselves, learn about yourselves right now, man. Y'all know the way I do this stuff when I do these type of videos or these type of reactions is that I share my own personal experiences so that we can all learn from some of my own doing how to elevate and get past, the things that troubled us in our life. Man, woo.
And they're literally, out of the infinite potentials in the quantum field, they're selecting the worst possible outcome, and they're beginning to emotionally embrace it with fear.
Ain't that crazy?
Conditioning their body into a state of fear. Do that enough times, the body has a panic attack without you.
Wow, he just mentioned it. He just mentioned your body having a panic attack. And that's exactly what I would experience. Like, my body would have a panic attack without me. Literally, it's like, yo, why is this panic attack coming about? Whoo! See, this is why I'm so glad I'm learning about this stuff. Continue to learned it in the past so that I can, further fight the battle of life, because this stuff right here has definitely subsided my panic attacks, because I used to have them so much and I don't have them nearly as much anymore. Thank God.
The body has a panic attack without you. You can't even predict it because it's programmed subconsciously.
Yeah.
So then you say to the person, why are you this way?
Right.
And they'll say, I am this way because of this event that happened to me 15 or 20 years ago.
Exactly.
And what that means from a biological standpoint is that they haven't been able to change since that event.
Whew.
So then the emotions from the experience tend to give the body and the brain a rush of energy. So people become addicted to the rush of those emotions. And they use the problems and conditions in their life to reaffirm their limitation, so at least they can feel something.
Woo! Goodness gracious, that's exactly right. Man, I'm over here about to tear up because I'm thinking about the younger me that used to have all these struggles, used to have all this pain, and used to do exactly that. I would come up with these reasons, these excuses that will validate the way that I was feeling. Rather it been people of my past experiences, or people in my present that I felt wasn't doing right or doing well enough by me. Oh my goodness, this is so powerful. But it's like when you hear this, when you learn about what it is that you were doing to yourself, it helps pull you out of that place. Because now you have this clear information that's right in front of you that lets you know what you were doing wrong.
So now when it comes time to change, you say to the person, why are you this way? Well, every time they recall the event, they're producing the same chemistry in their brain and body as if the event is occurring.
You see that? Exactly. So that's one thing that I have to be careful of whenever I'm consuming this type of information, especially when I'm doing it in this format where I'm sitting here and talking to you guys about it. Because when I hear this stuff, it brings back those memories to the point where I feel like I'm experiencing them all over again in present time, when that's not the case. When you get out of here for a moment and look at your surroundings, pay attention to what's happening, you're not experiencing those things in the present. You're not. Those are emotions and feelings of the past. Don't bring them into your present. Know that they exist. Believe that they happened, but don't let them control or dictate where you are now and where you will be in the future. Now, you guys, if y'all want to see the rest of this video, it's going to be over on Patreon. And when I say the rest of this video, I mean me talking about this video, me finishing this reaction. Y'all head over there to Patreon right now. The link will be down in the description box below if you're not already a member. And let's continue this conversation. To the next one.